Hello friends, welcome to Bookmas Day 3 and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell, is our December TBR or winter/Christmas TBR. I only have a few books on this TBR. I feel like I've been over ambitious on my TBRs recently and this one still feels slightly ambitious. But these are books I would love to get to before the end of the year. They feel like they have wintry vibes. Some of them are even outright Christmas storylines. So let's get into it. First up, and probably the least winter Christmassy, is The Last Hope School for Magical Delinquents. This is by Nikki Paprado, and I do plan to do a reading vlog for this. She is my favorite author. She is also the author of Crown of Feathers and Bonesmith. So I plan to read this. This is her first middle grade novel. Let me just read the synopsis to you. This is one synopsis that I will actually get into because I want you to know it. Lavinia Van Lucas is out of control and out of options. Stranded by parents who would rather use their average magical abilities to study dung beetles than raise her, Finn's been on her own for years. But she's never been able to corral her own powerful, unpredictable magic. After years of detention, suspension, and expulsion from magic schools far and wide, she's now being sent to the Last Hope School for Magical Delinquents. If she gets expelled, it's the end of the line. Now Vin is determined to behave, except no one at Last Hope seems to want her to. The school's kind headmistress pushes her to explore her magic, and her mischievous classmates delight in every accident. And all the while, a mysterious fire sprite, a suspicious instructor, and her overwhelming abilities might just sabotage Vin. But for the first time, she is not alone. So when the school is suddenly threatened, Vin must fight to protect her new home. But will her budding abilities and every trick, trap, and deception in her friend's delinquent arsenal be enough to save Last Hope? So it just looks like such a cute little novel. I'm very excited about it and I will be picking it up as soon as possible. This isn't necessarily a wintry vibe in itself of the book, but to me historical romance and fiction feels like a wintry trope, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping to pick up It's in His Kiss. This is Hyacinth's story and I believe it deals directly with Mrs. Davenport, if I remember correctly, but it's the woman in the series who has the cane and everyone's always kind of like slightly on edge around. But I think this is gonna be so good. I've read the rest of the series except this one and Gregory's story, which is On the Way to the Wedding. So primarily I would like to read this one, but if I have time I'll also try to get to Gregory's story as well. Another trope that I feel is fairly heavily into the wintry vibe is mythology or higher fantasy, something that goes a little deeper, because when it's winter you just kind of want to cuddle in and cozy up with a book. So what better time to like delve into a new world than during winter? So first off, I want to pick up The Song of Achilles. This has been on my TBR for quite some time and I've actually read the first chapter and I was very excited about it. I don't know why I put it down. My friend Leah just read it recently and adored it, so that reignited the spark of wanting to read this in me. Not that I've not wanted to read it, I've just been pushing it back. I think I'm falling back into my bad habit of I have to read these books before I can get to the books I really want to. So we are pushing this one to the top of the TBR again and trying to get to Song of Achilles. And then another kind of higher fantasy that has been on my TBR for quite some time is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And this is the same author that wrote The Starless Sea. I adored that book, so I really think I'll love this one. I just need to get to it. I also have the Illumicrate box of The Night Circus that I have not unboxed yet. I've wanted to read the book first and I think I've had that for probably a year and a half, 2 years, possibly more. So I really do need to get to this soon, and winter feels like the perfect time and this is the book. This one is definitely way more Christmassy. In fact, it is a novella set around Christmas time and that is spectacular. This is a novella set in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I just recently reread the series, so I'm very excited to get to this one. It is supposed to be during their holiday in this world, and it does have Christmassy colors. I'm planning to do a reading vlog of reading this specifically because I think it'll be a quick read and it's holiday themed. Oh, it's got illustrations too. Didn't know that. Love that. So planning to pick this up, and then alongside Spectacular in the same vein, I'm planning to pick up the sequels, which is Prince Jack's story, starting with Once Upon a Broken Heart. Primarily hoping to just read this one. Again, if I have time, I will continue on with the series, but this is the main focus, the first book here. Next up, I have Little Women. This would be a reread for me. It is one of my all-time favorite books, and it does have a heavy winter Christmas theme to it, and I just really would love to reread it. I've never read the sequels to this book, so much of this reread is built around the fact that I want to read the sequels, so I'm going to reread the book. Not that I don't know the story front to back, but I want to reread this book so that I can read the sequels with this fresh in my mind, as well as the retellings and adaptations. I'd love to get to those, so Little Women is on the docket. And finally, our two very Christmas themed books. First, we have The Holiday Swap. These both feel like Hallmark films built into a book, but this one is when Chef Charlie Goodwin gets hit in the head on the LA set of her reality baking show. She loses her critical ability to taste and smell. Meanwhile, her identical twin is frantically trying to hold her own in life, so it's a twin swap. So, sounds super fun. I love a good twin swap. I love a good, even when it's not twins, but they happen to look very similar. I love that kind of swap. So excited to get into this one. And the final book on my list is Talk Santa to Me, which I believe is a YA romance set at a Christmas tree farm. I could be wrong, but oh, it's a holiday shop. So it's just a YA romance. Again, very rom-com, Hallmarky built into a book, and it feels like a great read. I do have a 24-hour Christmas readathon planned, so the plan for that, where I read only Christmas books for the duration of that day, is these three books here. So Spectacular, The Holiday Swap, and Talk Santa to Me is on the docket for that day, so stay tuned for that as well. But that is my winter TBR. Let me know what is on your TBR for this month, and I will check in with you guys in my next video tomorrow, which is going to be, let me check my schedule, which will be day number 4, my recent reads. I would call it a wrap-up, but I have read so many digital books from the library, and I haven't done a wrap-up in probably 2 or 3 months now. So I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose some recent reads I would really like to talk about, and that will be tomorrow's video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.